A new shade of blue tuning in. And you guys know the drill by now?
Dead Spotter Plays, tuning in.
It's nueave-six.
Okay, guys. Okay, I love to talk about the obscure and unknown, but today the story that we're going to be discussing takes place in a world we're all familiar with, the DC universe.
Okay, I'm a little decent with DC.
I know it's a decent amount.
I want to tell you about my favorite DC hero, Robin. Specifically the third Robin.
Tim Drake.
Yep, aka the best Robin.
I will always argue with you on this one.
Okay, so here's my argument for it. Alright, so all the Robins have, something about them that makes them unique. They specialize in their own categories. Dick would be the fun Robin. Jason is the angry Robin. Damian is the dark Robin. And Stephanie is the girl Robin. I like to count her because I think it's interesting if there was just this girl Robin for a while.
And that was not long after. That was actually between, not canonly anymore, between Jason and Tim, wasn't it?
No, it was between Tim and Damian, sort of. I mean, really, it was between Tim takes a break, and then Tim again.
Because I was told that, Stephanie was the second Robin that had died.
Mm-hmm.
Under Bruce Wayne's watch.
Yeah, I mean, there's another story there.
I know the canon for her keeps changing because now she's a Batgirl.
Mm-hmm. Actually, anyway. Okay, so Tim was the smart Robin. And he was the one who could match Bruce Wayne as a detective. And he basically proved himself right off the bat. Because, in order to, I guess, get the attention of the Bat family, he first figured out who they were. Okay, I found out Tim Drake's first appearance in the comics, and it was a little misleading. It turns out Tim Drake's first appearance is basically a cameo.
Is Tim the you watch the Titans?
He's he was introduced in season 3 of Titans as, his first live action appearance.
Oh, was he?
And that's the one, that's the black one, right?
Yeah, he's a black kid in the new season, or in the newer season.
I thought that would be Duke.
Yeah, I don't think they've gotten to Duke. I think they're getting to Duke soon. But so far they got the first 3 Robins set.
Okay, well that's good to hear. One of the reasons I wanted to talk about it is because it feels like Tim doesn't get a lot of love when it comes to adaptation. You gotta do Dick because he was the first one. And, the relationship between father and son is just too hard to pass up, so usually you go right from Dick to Damian, and have Dick act as kind of a intermediate mentor figure. The big brother to Batman's dad. Well, because of Damian, Tim kind of got lost in the shuffle. The way he became Robin is that he was a big fan of Batman and Robin for almost his whole life. And it turns out he was actually there the night the Graysons died. He was 3 years old at the time, but he was there and he remembers. It turns out Batman arrived immediately on the scene. Bruce Wayne was also at the circus that night. But a few years later, actually it probably wasn't even a few years. Apparently Bruce adopted Dick a month after this tragedy in his life. And it was probably at least a year before he let Dick go out with him. But at some point, Tim caught Batman and Robin on television one night, and he saw Robin pull off this spectacular acrobatic maneuver, and it triggered his memories, and he flashed back to that night at the circus. So he realized Robin must be Dick Grayson. And so...
That's the only person who knows how to flip in the world.
He's the only one who knows how to flip in that specific way. It was like a triple somersault, mid-air cartwheel. He did the moonwalk while in mid-air, something like that. So, alright, so, of course, after making this connection, he had to find out what happened to Dick Grayson after the accident, and he found out he got basically adopted by Bruce Wayne. I say basically, but not technically. Apparently, Dick didn't want to be adopted.
It was a forced adoption.
Well, no. Instead of adopting him, Bruce made him his ward instead.
I will turn you into a vigilante.
Well, that was an accident too.
Well, in this continuity, it kind of happened immediately.
Hey, you're Robin now.
Well, more or less. Okay, so basically what went down is that there was this big court hearing, and Bruce Wayne won. Okay, he convinced the people who were looking after Dick, who assigned custody to Guardians, that he truly cares about Dick, and he just wants to help him, because of his own tragic history with his parents. So Dick was okay with it. Like, he was just gonna go with the flow. He still had this chip on his shoulder. Like, he wants Tony Zuko brought to justice because everyone knows he did it, but he doesn't want him dead anymore. This is another story. Basically, Bruce brought Dick into the mansion. He gave them a tour for like 20 minutes, and then he said, "So, you're still angry? I think I can help you deal with that anger. Well, you just come with me downstairs behind this secret passageway."
Batman's a real weirdo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, I think the kid will be having some real second thoughts right about now. And the thing is, Alfred is right behind him.
Oh my god.
Alfred is not
Like, you got
helping.
two old men adopting a little boy.
It's like,
Yeah.
Take them to their
Let's be honest,
special.
after that, Bruce Wayne had a very big proficiency in adopting little kids to wear tights.
the thing is, Alfred was against this whole thing. Like, he thought this was crazy. They were arguing over Dick, and Dick was just trying to figure out what they were talking about.
And then his boy's name is Dick, so they're arguing over Dick. I'm sorry if
Should I call him
This
Richard
is-
from now on?
I always never understood how that name is acceptable.
Exactly.
I'll say that.
Well, Tom, Dick, and Harry used to be pretty common names.
Right, and that doesn't mean that I should feel it's acceptable.
I just go with the flow when it comes to the.
Just
every
say
time
it.
I question the whole, how you get that name from one name, someone comes up
Just
with that
say
joke.
it, Jason. Just say it.
Just whenever someone says, "How do you get Dick from Richard?" everyone just goes to the joke of you ask him politely.
Okay. All right. So Bruce takes this kid down into the Bat Cave, and he basically just tells him, "Hey, I can
Put on these tights, little boy.
Oh my God.
It's not quite there yet." Basically
Oh,
says,
we're not there.
"Hey,
I'm sorry.
I can teach you to harness your anger. I can teach you to fight for justice. And I can help you
Yo.
make sure this never happens to anyone again."
Then he says, "Put on those tights, little boy."
Again, haven't gotten to the tights yet, but also he's used to tights. He's from the circus.
This is already going great.
But then Batman says, "Okay, do you want this?" And
I bet.
and Dick says,
Oh my God.
"I do." Which is, honestly, I can't imagine what would have happened if he had said no, because Batman's just standing there now in full costume. He's already in the Batcave. He sees the dinosaur in the Batmobile and the giant penny. Like, what do you do if he says no?
It's like, oh, so you're Batman. I'm out of here. Everyone's gonna know you're Batman, and you tried to kidnap a little kid. Bye.
Technically, the state gave him to him, so.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah,
My new dad's Batman.
But yeah, then Bruce launched into Dick's training. He basically told him, "I'm going to put you through some of the most impossible experiences you've ever been through in your life. It is going to be grueling, it's going to be miserable, but if you stick it out, it'll be worth it." Yeah, so martial arts, detective work, science, forensics, goes through the whole gambit of how to be a detective / crime fighter. And he always tried to instill in Dick this, basically he told them, we're not thugs, we are not brutalizers. We think with our heads, not our fist. Yeah, they need to go in with a detailed plan and execute that plan. That way they don't actually have to resort to violence as much. And this I actually thought was pretty interesting. Like, nowadays we usually think of Batman as this brutal beatdown artist who won't kill you but will give you brain damage.
A lot of it too.
apparently that's not. Apparently that wasn't the norm. Like, he will hurt you, but he won't maim you.
As long as you give him what he wants.
Yeah, basically. I really got to figure out a new filler word. But yeah, so that's kind of eventually Dick thought he was helping Bruce out. Essentially the reason the secret reason that Batman did this is because he wanted a confidant. He wanted a partner, someone to share all this with.
I heard it was also because he didn't want Dick to turn out like he did.
That too. The thing is, Bruce was there. He knows how alone someone can feel after suffering that great a tragedy, and no one around you being able to relate or comfort you in any way. And Bruce was there again. He watched two parents die. And he just saw himself and Dick when it happened. And honestly, if he wanted Dick not to turn out like him, he probably shouldn't have taught him to cope the same way he did.
Yeah, beating the hell out of a bunch of people.
Yeah, Batman just wanted someone to... he wanted someone to share all this with. Someone to relate to. Someone to help him in the fight. Yeah, the fact that someone happened to be 10 years old,
I mean, he was like, "Hey, you went through the same tragedy I went through. I know what you need in your life."
Pretty much. And, he was down for it. Like, the first mission they were going on, oh, by the way, Bruce gifted Dick his first costume, and he modeled after his old, Blind Grayson's leotard.
Hence the tights.
Actually, hence the lack of tights, because it was basically just a Speedo at the time.
Oh, that's even worse. That is even worse.
Yeah, honestly...
I'm not... Okay, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I actually thought that costume was pretty hideous, but it kind of works in the drawings. Okay, time passes, and eventually, there's just too much friction in Dick and Bruce's relationship at this point. Dick wants to be this, fun-loving jokester. He leads his own team. He wants to be his own man, but Bruce has gotten progressively more controlling and colder, and Dick just couldn't take it anymore. So after he left, Bruce kind of just lost that confidant. So when he ran into this other kid who was trying to steal the wheels off the Batmobile, he just saw him and thought, this kid could be a criminal, or I can raise another kid.
And he still ended up a criminal later on.
I mean, Batman tried, I guess. Yeah, so that's how he met Jason. He was trying to steal the wheels off the Batmobile, and for some reason Batman thought, okay, you're the new Robin. So
that's about how it goes, right?
Yeah, but like I said, Jason was kind of he had a chip on his shoulder that he couldn't quite shake. The odds are he probably killed someone while Batman and Robin were out in the field. And Jason just said, he tripped. I tried to save him. But all in all, Jason wasn't a bad person. He just really hated criminals. Or evil, I guess I should say. But he also really wanted a family. So when he found out his mom might still be alive, he went on this quest to find her. And unfortunately, it turns out she was with the Joker. And
oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, you know what
I
happened.
never knew all this. Nah,
yeah, I got the Ra's al Ghul ending on that one when I first heard the story.
Yeah, you watched
Jason.
the movie. They streamlined it.
I watched the movie and read the Lost Years.
Yeah, But yeah, that's what Jason was after. He was just looking for his mom. He ends up in a warehouse with the Joker, who beats him with a crowbar for a while, and then he sets a bomb. Batman arrives too late.
As usual.
Yeah, and Jason is gone. And it turns out, big surprise, Bruce has not handled this loss very well.
And gets another Robin.
Well, no, first he starts by just trying to scrub out that Jason ever existed.
How long was Jason a Robin for?
I don't think he was Robin for very long.
He was in his late teens by the time he died, right?
I don't know about that. Well, okay, so see, the timeline that I'm working with is that Batman was in action for 2 years. Then he met Dick, and they were together for 12 years. So yeah, it's been at least 12 years, so Jason may have had a year to be Robin in between that.
So only a year?
I assume so. Like when it's referenced, it seems like it was kind of a short time.
I mean, that alone should be like, maybe I should stop doing this. This is when Batman becomes a criminal. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm just speculating. It could have been 2 or 3.
Either way, you got these little boys out in the street risking their lives. Like, that's like,
to be fair,
messing with their minds and stuff. Well, like, yeah. They're not old enough to be like, you're supposed to be some type of role model. So whatever you tell them is cool, they're gonna do. You're Batman.
Batman didn't tell Jason that was cool. He went rogue.
I'm just saying, in the sense of becoming. If Batman came to you, I mean, you'd be like, yeah, and he was like, hey, give me $20. You gonna give him $20 because he's Batman.
That is true. I mean, I'd be
so then now you're dealing with like 12-year-old boys. It's like don't know what life is. It ain't right. That's all I'm saying. He's a criminal. Batman's a real criminal in the story.
Yeah,
but continue.
He kind of learned his lesson here. Okay, like I said, he didn't handle it well. He starts just by erasing Jason's existence from the Batcave and the manor.
Like, he should be in jail.
He takes down all the pictures. He gets rid of all the trophies he selected with Jason. And he just tries to not talk about it.
That was his greatest failure.
Yeah, the problem is he didn't even tell Dick that Jason died.
How did Dick find out?
Alfred called him.
Oh my god.
Because Alfred's having a hard time. The grandfather of the Bat family.
I mean, cause see, that's why I see why Jason did what he did. One, Batman basically kept the person who did this alive and caused more people to die. And then completely erased him from everything. Didn't even tell Tim that there was a Robin between him and Dick.
Actually, that's what I was going to get to next. You see, no one really noticed the swap out between Dick and Jason, except for Tim. Like I said, Tim's been paying close attention to Batman and Robin's adventures over the years, and he noticed there was a sudden divide. Like Robin disappeared for a while, this new guy named Nightwing showed up with the Titans, who Robin used to lead, and then suddenly there was a new Robin who was somehow younger than the last one. So again, Tim put two and two together. Probably found out that Bruce Wayne adopted a new ward. And then suddenly Robin just stopped showing up. And suddenly Batman's not only been getting reckless, he's been getting sloppy. And Tim starts to worry that his hero is either going to get himself killed or he's going to kill someone else. But to him, it seems like it might be up to him to get Batman back on the right path, because no one else knows what he knows as far as he knows. Alright, so Tim goes looking for Dick Grayson, shows up at his doorstep, basically just rings the doorbell, and when Dick answers, he says, "Hi, I know you're..."
Was this his house in Bloodhaven?
Possibly. Like, I didn't actually get to the part of the story where it says where he actually found him. Tim was actually, like, running around trying to find Dick. Like, he was, like, perched... He was staking out Titan's Tower, waiting for Nightwing to come out so he could follow him home.
Like most people, I guess, would do.
Yeah, he saw the other Titans leave. He apparently he knew that Nightwing and Starfire were living together at the time, so somehow he was able to just trace her back to their back to their apartment. And he realized that Dick's just not here, so he had to rely on his last resort and just go and knock on the door. And just ask Starfire, "Hey, have you seen Nightwing anywhere? I need to talk to him." So Starfire was just like, "I'm not allowed to get that information. He hasn't been around in a while, and how did you know where I live?" And honestly, this is the part that kind of confused me, because how wouldn't he know where you live? You are a bright orange alien with glowing green eyes?
Yeah.
Do your neighbors not know you're here? You flew in through the window. I'm pretty sure someone saw you enter. You leave this fiery street wherever you go.
At least once.
Yeah, she's a public figure without a mask.
Or a superhero name. Well, Starfire is her superhero name.
Yeah, her friends call her Corey.
Yeah. Corey's her, real name, and then Starfire is her alias.
Yeah, or at least that's the translation of her alien name. But yeah, eventually Tim is able to find Dick and basically just ask him, "Hey, Batman needs your help. Can you please be Robin again? I think he was happiest when you were Robin." And that was pretty much his argument. And Dick was just like, "I'm Nightwing now. I'm not going back to being Robin, but we should probably go talk to Bruce." Because Dick has noticed that Bruce has been going off the rails lately.
Yeah.
And I admit, I'm not entirely sure. I was trying to read all the way through his origin story, but I'm not really sure how one led to the next. But somehow, alright, Tim Drake met Bruce Wayne. At some point, Tim Drake's parents were both kidnapped. Batman tried to save them. And he did he saved 0.5% of the duo. Okay, that was confusing.
5% of the duo?
Okay, so he went to save both of his parents. Tim lost his mom, and his dad is permanently paralyzed and just stuck in a hospital bed. All he can move is his eyes.
Ow.
Yeah. So that's why Tim is the ward of Bruce Wayne now. So the thing is, Tim didn't even want to be Robin. Like, he wants to help Batman, but he didn't think he had what it takes to be Robin.
Didn't he blackmail Batman into letting him just help out?
He didn't, actually. It was more like the thing I like about Tim is that he's actually the obedient Robin. Like, he treats being Robin like a job.
Isn't he older?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, instead of starting at 10 like the other Robins, he started at maybe 15.
Well, that helps.
A little more discipline. And his parents are still alive.
Kinda?
5%. 5%.
5% of his family is still alive.
I mean, he's not an orphan yet.
Yet.
But yeah, so eventually Tim has been building up to being the new Robin because, now he has that rage in him. And, well, he finally gets what he wants. He managed to prove himself, and he's given a new Robin costume. In my opinion, a better Robin costume than Dick and Jason had, because this one actually has pants.
And not the tights.
I mean, they still might be tights, but at least they're like Kevlar tights.
A little bit too old to convince him to start wearing tights.
15-year-old to wear tights.
Hey, he was sitting in front of that. He was sitting in front of that case every day in the Batcave, just thinking about being Robin. He wanted that costume.
It's like, oh yeah, I want to be in short shorts.
Yeah, it was more like I want to be Robin, but I don't want to dishonor this uniform. So Batman just gave him a new uniform. Yes, and the thing is, after all that time, all that build-up, he's finally wearing the uniform. He is finally Robin, and he is scared out of his mind.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah, it's finally dawning on him that he might not have what it takes. He's worried that Batman has made a mistake, and he's gonna go out there and end up getting his hero killed. Batman is...
Track record says it's most likely going to be the other way around.
Dick is okay.
Not mentally.
I disagree. He's actually the healthiest Robin. Mentally.
I mean, at least Jason's using rubber bullets now.
Alright. Well, Jason died and came back to life. I don't think he'll ever be 100%. But...
Well, I mean, I can't say much. Rubber bullets can actually kill someone if they're shot at a high enough velocity, so never mind.
Yeah, it's a comic book universe, they'll be fine.
Actually happened in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Oh. But, okay. So, yeah, Tim is worried that he doesn't have what it takes to be Robin. Bruce is actually there trying to convince him that Tim is everything that he needs. He doesn't need someone to be reckless. He doesn't need someone to be impulsive and jump into danger. He's already had that and did not work out.
Yeah, he had a shoot first, ask questions later type of guy.
Yeah. Bruce tells him what he needs is brains, and Tim has that in spades. But Tim points out that he doesn't need someone to, sit in the lab and, run crime scenarios. Batman needs someone to watch his back on the street. And Tim does not have those street smarts. And he doesn't think he'll be ready to be Batman's partner until he does. So he decides that the only way to be worthy of being Batman's partner is by going on a similar quest to his. So Robin is gonna follow his mentor's steps, well, at least to the best of his ability, travel across the world, and learn some martial arts.
Oh god, he didn't join the League, did he?
He's not at that level yet.
Okay.
You see, Bruce does not actually tell Tim what he did to, train to become Batman. Bruce's exile, his world tour, that DC could turn that into, DC's One Piece if they wanted to. That situation provides infinite storylines.
Oh, you mean like what they did with Arrow?
I guess so, except they won't be going back to the same island.
Over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. Alright, but like I said, Bruce won't tell Tim what he did, so Tim had to basically figure something out of his own. And what he came up with is learning to obscure Tibetan martial art in France. The last living master of the art style. The fighting style. Alright. So, Tim is still insecure, though. He's thinking, maybe this isn't the way to go about this. But Alfred, again, Bat Family grandfather, is there to give some encouragement and advice. basically tells him, hey, Bruce will never tell you to follow his path. Each experience has its own rewards. And when you go out there, learn what you need to know, you'll come back to us stronger and wiser than you were before, just like Master Bruce before you.
This is coming from the guy who shot a cannibal in the face.
Probably. Alfred's hardcore like that.
Like, he legit has hidden guns around the manor. And he told Bruce, even though he's the greatest detective, he's the man to train the greatest detective, he will not find all those guns.
I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, keep in mind, Alfred's the guy who stood up to evil Superman.
And punched him straight in the gut.
That's crazy.
I vividly remember when Alfred shot the cannibal that tried to eat Bruce Wayne in the face and then told him, like, nope, you're not finding my guns. You're not taking this one from me. I'd like to see you try.
Yeah. Yeah, Alfred's pretty much the only one in the family who can use guns.
I was just thinking that.
Guns that can actually kill someone anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, we kind of get our thematic element for the story here, through this encouragement from Alfred. Tim says that Tim says that speech makes him sound like some sort of knight errant. And, well, that's pretty much what Tim is for this story. He's someone who seeks to, how do you put it? Protect the oppressed, protect the innocent, and punish the guilty. Yeah. So that's basically what he believes being Robin means. But before he goes on his trip, he needs to make a couple of stops. And the first one is difficult, where he stops at his mother's grave, and the second one's a lot harder when he has to go see his dad in the hospital.
Because Lucas says his mother, he knows that his mother's gone. His dad could go at a moment's notice.
Well, no, his dad is stable. He's just completely paralyzed, and all he can move is his eyes.
Get 100% paralyzed then.
I think that counts.
There's a way to look on the bright side, though. He can blink if they make a blink language.
Blink twice if you think I should go do this.
Yeah, Tim didn't tell his dad that he was trying to be Robin.
Blink twice if I should pull the plug.
I mean, I guess I'll let you know now. Tim's dad does get better.
Okay.
Yeah. His dad actually makes him quit being Robin.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure any majority of parents would ask their kids to quit being a vigilante.
Yeah, I think that's why Robin tried to keep it from him for so long. By the way, I guess I should say this now. I've already been doing it, but I'm going to be using Tim and Robin interchangeably throughout this story. Alright, but we finally get to the meat of it here. Alright, Tim heads to Paris. He's expecting to see some sort of, fancy dojo. But what he finds is actually an old, rundown flop house. Like, if there was paint on the wall, it's chipped so much that the wood itself is peeling.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's just broken junk everywhere, just random rocks and litter. And at the door is just this other kid. Around the same age as him, introduces himself as Shang-Chi. And apparently he's the one other student at this school.
Huh, so DC has a Shang-Chi too.
Honestly, I think they just, grabbed the most generic-sounding Asian name they could find. But yeah, so, he's... Tim actually, and a funny bit is that Tim is the smart one, like I said. He's the hacker of the team. Not as good as Oracle, but he's the one who knows computer stuff. So he asked him, hey, I brought my computer from home. Is there a place I can plug it in? And Shang-Chi is just like, sorry, no electricity.
Huh.
Yeah, so Tim is laying on his bed in total darkness and regretted his life choices. But he's reinvigorated the next day. Turns out the llama that they call him, he's the real deal.
Huh.
Yeah, he doesn't know much. He doesn't really know English, though. He only knows one phrase of English. Have a nice day. Other than that, Xing-Chi will be translating. Chi is the llama's grandson, just so you know.
Okay.
Yep, so... Alright, so Tim starts off with the healing arts. Basically, it's what it sounds like. It's how to, use pressure points to, soothe muscles, ease pain. He practices that for, a month. And then it's finally time for the martial part of the martial arts. And this is when he realizes why he spent the first month learning the healing arts. It's because you need to use those on yourself after every training session. Because Chi takes great pleasure in stomping Tim's face in the floor every sparring match. But Chi's not all bad. A few weeks in, Chi decides to take Tim out of the town. Alright, let me mention before then. Turns out this martial arts also... Sorry, got interrupted there. Alright, it turns out this martial arts also requires you to use a weapon. Specifically a ranged weapon from what I can tell. So Tim chooses a sling. Not a slingshot, like an actual, piece of leather that you whip around your head and throw a marble or something out from.
Like Baki.
I guess so. But yeah, so Chi doesn't seem all that bad. Eventually, Chi decides to take Tim out of the town, show him the Paris nightlife. I'm not sure what I'm not really sure where they go. Some sort of teen nightclub, I assume?
Huh.
Yeah, but this is when we find out Tim is kind of he's a very straight-laced kid. This is probably also why I like him. This isn't the kind of thing you would normally be doing. Yeah. And, Chi is trying to get him to loosen up. But while they're there, Tim is hugging the bar. A girl approaches. A wild girl approaches.
A wild girl.
She does look good. I mean, she's it probably doesn't seem that weird because it's a superhero comic, but she comes up and basically looking like she's dressed in a swimsuit with a leather jacket and knee-high, high-heeled boots with a red headband. She looks like she stepped out of Mad Max.
Or that lady who tried to open my car when I was in my first week in my old neighborhood.
Probably. the girl is bad news. But she starts flirting with Tim, and I'm not really sure Tim knows what he's doing here, but he can barely hear what she's saying, so he suggests that they go out to find a place quieter to talk. She tries to intervene, shoot his shot, I guess, or at least block Tim. And the girl stomps his foot, breaks his finger, and then struts on by, taking Tim by the arm and leading him outside. So I guess it was probably foreshadowing or something that she was able to just disable this trained martial artist so easily. But I can't really say for sure. While they're outside, the girl tries to get more intimate, and Tim is starting... Now, Tim is thinking that he should probably get himself out of the situation, but it's taken out of his hands because, well, this gang of thugs shows up, dressed just like the girl, minus the swimsuit. They're wearing jeans because they're guys, I guess.
Yeah.
And basically start saying, hey, I told you we were going to meet at this place at this time. Let's go. And just grabs her and tries to drag her away. She starts, resisting and yelling. And Tim has a pretty normal reaction. He's like, should I intervene? But she
just kicked the hell out of me. Should I?
Well, that was the other guy.
Oh.
But yeah, Tim eventually steps up. And he says, hey, she doesn't have to go with you if she doesn't want to. And somehow, I'm not entirely sure, but Tim missed this guy leaning back, lifting his foot, and then kicking him in the face.
Huh.
Like, I'm not sure how you do all that without telegraphing it. But apparently Tim was thinking about what he should be doing instead of watching what his opponent was doing. Yes. So he's on the ground with a bloody nose, and the guy just goes, I wish I could teach him more of a lesson, but I got a place to be. Maybe I'll see you later. And then he just leaves Tim on the ground as he drags the girl off, and she's cursing the whole way in Cantonese.
Huh.
So Tim is still wondering, should he intervene? Like, she's clearly one of the gang members. Maybe she likes this kind of treatment. Maybe she was just trying to, make her boyfriend jealous or something. Some guy named Bobby. But maybe she doesn't. Maybe she doesn't like this. Maybe she doesn't want to be there, and maybe she's really in trouble. And maybe he just wants to kick maybe he just wants to kick Bobby's teeth in. So he chooses to follow them. They end up at some sort of, abandoned warehouse, which is these stories are full of. And after taking note of the location, he sprints back to the dojo, grab his Robin gear, and then swings back to the warehouse. He infiltrates through the rooftops, and he starts hearing the sounds of he figures this is going to be good practice for him, and this is what he's supposed to be doing anyway, since, his master doesn't teach the sneaking skills. So when he gets inside, he immediately starts hearing the sounds of a fight. But it turns out it's actually the sounds of a beating. The two guys are holding this one guy while another one works him over.
Gives him the what for.
Yeah. So Tim doesn't know what he stepped into, but, he knows why he's here. He's here to help. He's here to help people. So he jumps down to even the odds. He doesn't know what's going on, but he knows he doesn't like an unfair fight. Alright. So, but thankfully, the guy who was being worked over, it still has a lot of fight in him. Because, turns out Tim still isn't that great a martial artist. It doesn't take long for him to get ganged up on and dragged down. He manages to see the girl as the other guys are pulling on him. She's standing there, and he's like, run! Get out of here! And she just stands there and stares. So he's like, she must be paralyzed in fear. And it looks like I'm about to just be paralyzed, as one of the thugs come at him with a chain. But thankfully, his new friend is able to, jump in and is able to just throw these guys around. Not sure how they took him down the first time. But apparently the attack was so ferocious that the other guys just say, this isn't worth it anymore, let's get out of here. And Tim's new friend is just waving one of the nunchucks he stole off the guys around and saying, yeah, tell your boss that Clyde Rollins is coming for him. You can't hide.
Yeah, give him your name, why don't you?
He wants him to know his name. Also, the girl is being dragged away once again, and Tim is like, wait. But Clyde stops him from running. Stops him from going after her, because they are not in great shape.
Time to use that healing technique.
Yeah, Clyde doesn't know that healing technique.
Uh,
Alright, so Tim decides that he needs to get Clyde to... Tim decides that he needs to get Clyde some help. And, but Clyde refuses to go to a hospital. So,
Why do I
instead...
feel like Clyde's about to become a vigilante at some point?
Okay, spoilers, he already is.
Oh, what's his superhero name?
He's not that kind of vigilante.
Oh.
You know, that's the one...
Clyde!
That's
Clyde, the normal guy.
Yeah. Well, I want to say normal guy. So, this is actually one of the... Since you mentioned that, there is one weird thing that comes up in this book. No one seems to acknowledge that Robin is in full costume. Like,
Wait, this whole time he's in full costume?
well, in this fight, he's in full costume. It's just that when the
Okay.
when the gang members go to their boss and explain that, hey, we got jumped by
Robin.
this boy. They don't go into any further details. Like, yeah, there was this boy and he saved the guy you wanted us to kill.
I mean, I would imagine Robin being like an international hero.
Yeah, I would
I
think
know
that. I would think that too, but then again, it's like I think like they're pretty well established, but they are American heroes, so maybe the French just aren't tuned in like that.
If they have their own vigilantes that aren't in costume, we may be like boring to them.
Oh, actually, Clyde is American.
Yeah,
Oh,
Clyde sounds American.
it does, but okay.
Hey, if you want to get confusing, then it turns out the boss of this gang, they're called the Ghost Dragons, by the way. His name is what was it? Let me see. Sir Dorian, I think.
Dorian's Old English.
No, Sir Durance. Yeah, apparently. Alright, so Sir Durance, our villain for this evening. Alright, he poses as like a respectable businessman, but he's actually made all his money in heroin.
Huh.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, definitely nothing more respectable than selling drugs.
Yeah, apparently he was so good at hiding what a bad person he was that he got knighted at some point.
Actually, I've heard of Sir Dorian.
Dorrance.
The Dorrance.
Yeah.
Solderants.
All right. So, we're introduced to Sir Dorrance. I'm going to be referring to him by his villain name, King Snake, from now on because it's just easier to say.
He looks American.
Kinda. I mean, he's basically this. He's this big blonde guy built like a football player
With a snake tattoo.
He's also blind. He's a cross between Daredevil and the Kingpin. Yeah, our first introduction to him is when the Ghost Dragons run to him and he's asking, "Hey, why is that guy I told you to kill still alive?" And they're like, "Well, look, we got jumped. There was 100 of them. They all had guns. You wouldn't let us have guns. If you let us have guns." And then I think Dorrance punched that guy in the face, killing him in one strike. Because we never see that guy again. That was Bobby, by the way.
It's like the one villain from the Catwoman Batman movie that like got beat up by Batman so many times he just decided to stay out of it after looking Batman dead in the face. It's like, oh, nothing in here. I already got myself kicked in the face a bunch of times by this guy. He's not here.
Yeah. By the way, I should mention that it's the girl. The girl is there, by the way.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, she does not waste any time, like, throwing Bobby under the bus. I mean, he's already dead, so.
But you're assuming he's dead just because he never appears again?
Pretty much, and also there's a pretty graphic picture of him having his nose busted in. Blood smeared all over his face. But yeah, so Clyde wakes up in the most comfortable bed he's ever been in. Yeah, he says he thinks he's died and gone to heaven, and Tim pipes up with, "Not quite. This hotel lost its 5 stars last year." Yeah, so it's down. It's only a 4-star hotel, like 1 step away from heaven. But yeah, so of course Tim starts asking questions. Oh, he's out of costume, by the way, no mask or anything.
Oh, hey, I'm Robin, by the way.
Yeah, he gets to that. Just call me Robin. Yeah, but Clyde does mention that for a place this lavish, that Tim's got to be filthy, stinking rich, which he is. I think his parents were like Bruce Wayne, or unlike Bruce Wayne's level, which is probably part of the reason for Tim's insecurity. He can't help but think he might just be some pampered rich kid. Does he really have what it takes to throw down in the streets? Tim is very aware of his shortcomings, and he seeks to improve on them, which is another reason why I like the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, humility is a big thing for me when it comes to likability. It's not really knowing your limits. It's more like it's knowing your limits so you can surpass them.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but so Tim, of course, asks, "So what was up last night?" And Clyde says, "I'm undercover for the DEA."
Then why would you want them to know your name?
Yeah, actually, Tim points out that, "Hey, I have your passport right here. It does not have your name on it. It has a completely different name here. And I also pulled up your credentials for the DEA. You're not undercover. Your credentials expired 3 months ago." Because Tim is a detective. He looked into all of this. But he still wants to hear Clyde's story face to face. Basically, Clyde's on a revenge quest. King Snake murdered his wife and daughters. And
that'd be a good reason as any to go on revenge quest.
Yeah, and of course he wants vengeance, and he doesn't think Tim's going to understand, but of course Tim does. Yeah. But Tim is basically like, "Okay, so we need to take this guy down." And of course Clyde is like, "What do you mean we?" Like, what do you mean we? I'm not here to babysit. And Tim is like, "I can take care of myself." Obviously I can't say the same for you. Because while Clyde was unconscious, Robin also bandaged him up. He has a couple of broken ribs under those bandages.
Oof.
Yeah, but while they're kind of having this discussion about if they're teaming up or not, suddenly a woman appears on the windowsill, just squatting there like Spider-Man. And she says, "Hey, you're both in danger. You need to get out of here."
I'm guessing it's the girl from...
No, this is actually an older woman.
Huh.
Yeah, she appears and she just says, "Hey, both of you need help. You are in danger. If I can find you, others can too." And sure enough, the ghost dragons come storming up the stairs with a bunch of automatic weapons, and there's one guy in the back with size for some reason. And they kick the hotel door open, because they knew exactly where he was for some reason, and just start opening fire.
That's about right.
Yeah, but the Clyde, Robin, and the woman have managed to slip out the window. Somehow Robin was able to put on his costume in that amount of time.
You think they do training for that? costume change training?
You know, I do.
You ever seen that couple? They do like halftime shows, and that's what
Yeah,
they do. Is like they do like 10 costume changes, and like each costume they change in a second.
yeah, I saw that on America's Got Talent as well. I assume that's the same couple, actually.
Probably.
And you
It's
know,
actually pretty entertaining.
yeah, I feel like that's the type of thing Bruce would like study. Like, okay, I need to be as efficient as possible. How do I get out of this suit and into my bat outfit in a matter of seconds? I feel like every superhero has that skill. You know, like I remember MTV Spider-Man, that series.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, basically quick change was one of Spider-Man's powers. Like one time he managed to change from his street clothes into a Spider-Man outfit in between the flickers of a light bulb. So
That's incredible.
yeah. All right, so the new trio are running along the edge of a building, hoping to get to cover. But unfortunately, they find one of the guys peek out of the window and they see him running. So of course he starts opening fire with a machine gun. Thankfully, the guy has terrible aim. Sheila does like some sort of like parkour move to get higher up on the rooftops, but Clyde's too injured to make that maneuver. So of course Clyde goes, "Go on without me." But Robin's like, "I have a better idea," and he throws out a grappling hook, and he decides to use it as a zip line. So he has Clyde hold on to him, and they just go sailing down to a lower rooftop. She was helping them out by like throwing darts at guys and knocking them off the building. And well, they managed to escape. Clyde apparently had a car stashed somewhere or something. And the lady who saved them, I guess, she hops into her own vehicle and I guess follows. Yeah, and so we cut back to King Snake. He talks to the Ghost Dragons after another failure. And, of course, the Ghost Dragons are like, "Look, the reason we couldn't kill that guy and that boy is because this woman interfered." So, Edmund's kind of had enough of their excuses, and he kills the second guy who was in charge. He killed the second guy who was in charge. So I know for a fact that this guy is dead. Yeah, he grabs him by the head, there's a snark sound, and then he just falls over.
You said he does a snark sound?
Yeah, I assume that's the sound of his neck breaking.
Snark? Is that like the onomatopoeia word you're using?
Or, I think it was snapped. Yeah, that's about right.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't really know how to say the onomatopoeia words, I just go with it in my head.
Snark.
Alright. But yeah, so he kills the second guy he put in charge, and then the girl that Robin was after steps up and is like, well, she's just forthcoming, and King Snake likes that. Okay, you seem to have a level head on your shoulders. All right, what's your name? And she says she goes by Lynx on the streets. So, King Snake puts Lynx in charge. And in the while this is going on, that the woman who saved Clyde and Robin, she's actually hanging out nearby, just spying on this whole exchange. All right. So once again, Clyde and Robin were able to escape to another safe location. 2 days have passed at this point. Clyde is just waking up, apparently with delirious for the last couple of days. He doesn't even remember driving them there because Robin's too young to drive. It was not a pleasant trip because he kept passing out every 30 seconds. But they're safe now, and Robin was finally able to do some research. Apparently, Bruce gave Robin that Bat credit card because he's just spending money like mad. He rented this cabin and he bought a new computer while he was there.
A new computer
Yeah. Because,
is not spending money. Whose credit card got canceled?
No, I said Bruce must have given him a Bat credit card or something because he's spending money like mad on this trip.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's Bruce. Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
be
Bruce.
mad.
Like, I'm not questioning how he can afford all this.
Okay.
It's just that Clyde keeps questioning how he can afford all this.
Oh, okay. At least said it was a bad credit card.
No, Bat credit card. It was a meme.
Oh, BAT.
Yeah, it was a meme a while back.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. But this is where Clyde finally reveals why he's after King Snake. And Robin kind of snaps at this point because Clyde thinks he's all alone in this because, when he went to he is the authorities. Robin managed to pull up his full record. Apparently he was a great cop, essentially. He had a 90% conviction rate. He was doing real damage to King Snake's operations. And according to, as Robin put it, he gave up the good fight. And of course, Clyde is like, good fight? The good fight got my wife and babies killed. And when he wanted to put the scum who did it away, all he got was a bunch of crud about immunity and whatnot. So he quit the DEA to go handle it himself. And that's the type of vigilante Clyde is. But Robin has to convince him that he's not. Robin has to convince him that he's not the only one who's hurting. That he's not the only one who had loved ones taken away. And that he can help Clyde get his revenge. Because Clyde himself said that, he was a great detective. And he needs those skills if he's going to find King Snake. So, of course, Clyde asks, so what does Robin get out of this? And Robin responds with, I'm trying to save a girl, but more importantly, I need you to treat me how to be street smart. I need more training in order to continue to do this job. And apparently this is when Clyde figures out that Robin's a superhero in training. Because apparently the cape and tights didn't do that for him. So Clyde agrees to teach Robin how to fight, but it's not a martial art. There's no art to it. So they go outside. And Clyde starts beating him up. Don't worry, Tim's used to this by now. It's just like back in school. It's just like back with the other master. Except this time, Clyde is kind of, egging him on, trying to make him angry, telling him how soft he is, how he doesn't have what it takes. Tell him to use the anger, use the dark side of the force. And Clyde and Rob and Tim eventually concedes, gets mad, and kicks Clyde right in the broken ribs. Then he grabs his shirt and punches him in the broken ribs. And then when Clyde's on the ground, Robin comes to his senses and is like, man, I'm sorry. But Clyde's honestly proud of him. And that's when the woman shows up again. And she's just like, I've seen better fights from children in the schoolyard. You need more finesse, a woman's touch. So this is when we finally figure out who this lady is. The woman is Lady Shiva.
Oh, fuck.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, she's not usually good news.
Not usually, no. Lady Shiva is one of the people who trained Batman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, the reason she's here is because she's after King Snake as well. She actually thinks that Clyde's reason for, Clyde's wanting vengeance, and she thinks that Clyde wanting vengeance and Robin wanting adventure are kind of quaint to her. Like, she just heard that King Snake was the most dangerous man on Earth, and she just wants him to meet the most dangerous woman on Earth. Because apparently there can only be one.
That's tough.
Yeah, but she's taking an interest in Robin as well.
So this girl is... Oh, hold on. This girl is the same girl they met at the bar? The wild girl?
No, that's Lynx. She's doing other stuff.
Okay, sorry. I just realized that. Alright, sorry.
No worries, I understand what's confusing. I kept using the word girl instead of woman. I
get it. In your eyes, women don't deserve names. I get it.
Well, I was trying to hold down until this point before I called her Shiva.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
I'm bad with names.
But yeah, Shiva decided that these would be the people she should work with in order to get close to King Snake, because, hey, they got a vendetta, they'll be useful. I mean, they survived this long, with my help, admittedly. But she has some information for them. Apparently, King Snake is trying to get something out of a location in France and get it to himself in Hong Kong. It apparently is something really bad. She kind of shoos Clyde away and tries to get Robin to focus on tracking down where this thing that he wants could be. And what she has so far is that it's probably a weapon of some kind made by the Germans during World War II. So it's a Nazi doomsday weapon of some kind. So Robin stays up late into the night doing research, looking over things, and he thinks he's finally figured it out. There's a village there's a village where, like, that was entrenched a long time ago, during the war to keep the Germans out. It did not work. But there's like miles of tunnels down there that could stash a secret lab. So they figured that's their best lead, so they're going to go check it out. Yeah, and Robin's actually pretty excited about this. So he is kind of like, he does view this as kind of an adventure. And Clyde's starting to realize how weird the situation he's in right now actually is. Robin's figured out by now that the weapon that the Germans have is some type of plague. They're trying to use a bio-warfare. And if King Snake wants that, they really shouldn't let him have it. And it's a good thing that Robin's hunch was right on the money. The Ghost Dragons are already there trying to load up the truck with whatever this thing is. And this is when Shiva decides to disappear on them. Alright, Clyde is really suspicious of Shiva. He thinks this all might be some sort of setup. But Robin's like, nah, there's only one other person I know who can disappear like that, and he's one of the good guys. So Clyde and Robin decide to infiltrate on their own, and they immediately get caught. So yeah, Robin really does need to work on those sneaking skills.
Terrible.
Yeah, I mean, if anything was going to get Batman killed, it's gonna be your inability to infiltrate a place without getting caught. So they immediately start taking fire. Clyde tells Robin to run while he, draws their fire. And apparently they hit some oil barrels or something. There's just this big explosion behind Robin all of a sudden. Robin's, Kevlar cape takes most of the explosion. I don't know how Clyde survives. But Robin finds himself surrounded again, and he's still not good at facing multiple attackers at once, so of course he's captured. He's dragged away to their leader.
Fail.
Yeah, their leader being Lynx. And
okay.
And Lynx knows that Robin was trying to rescue her, and she kind of thinks it's funny. Because now his heroics have gifted her with an excellent gift for her boss. This is going to secure her spot as one of the higher ups in the food chain. But before she can secure Robin and her prize, the explosion. Well, Robin got an incredible stroke of luck. I mean, this is basically a straight up miracle, or contrivance, depending on how you feel about it. It turns out that explosion woke up a colony of bats that just happened to live in these tunnels. So thousands of bats start swarming around the Ghost Dragons, and they all start freaking out and panicking. Robin spent so much time in the Batcave, he's totally used to this by now. And he's able to roll out of there and escape into the chaos. Alright, so now he still has a problem, because now he needs to figure out, how do I get this probable Nazi plague away from these half a dozen thugs with machine guns? Thankfully, Clyde comes in clutch with his own machine gunning. He just starts machine gunning down the thugs.
Sounds about right.
Robin actually throws a battle ring to knock the gun out of his hands.
You don't get people killed that's why I couldn't be a partner with him.
Well,
or Batman.
Actually, Tim had a good reason for doing that. Because they're carrying a box filled with a virus, and they're shooting at it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but, Robin also doesn't want to kill anyone, but I think Okay, basically, Tim kind of has a very loose relationship with the no-kill policy. It's
You
kind of
gotta
like,
die.
like,
If I have to kill you, I will.
well, no, it's more like, I won't kill you. Okay, he's the
But
I
if
don't
you're
want to kill you, but I
holding
don't have
stick-
to save you type.
Oh, that's Batman's too.
No, he's not. Batman will like take a bullet for his enemies if he.
Let me
if he
rephrase.
can.
It's Christopher Nolan's Batman, anyways.
Yeah, and even he changed his ways by the second movie.
Well, he let Catwoman kill Bane, so
Well, he didn't let her do that. She just did that.
she stole the bat cycle and did it herself.
I feel like that kind of hurt the message of the movie there, or at least the theme of the character. But anyway, so
He provided the item to kill him.
I guess so. He probably shouldn't have had guns on that thing in the first place.
And I think they did like some kind of off-screen thing for Joker's death, like, he got the chair or something.
That's probably what should happen.
Because, they killed off the Joker for those movies after Heath Ledger's death.
I never heard that. I just assumed he was in a cell somewhere, like usually. But yeah,
Johnny Depp still should have gotten that role.
all right. But in this story, Robin and Clyde are forced to chase after the truck because they do get it loaded. They start heading down the highway. So Clyde's riding a motorcycle, Robin's in the sidecar, and they're just being shot at from outside the back of this truck. And since Clyde doesn't have his gun anymore, he's just kind of wondering, so what the heck are we going to do here?
Die.
So Robin's like, don't worry, I've been practicing. And he pulls out his sling.
That's gonna help.
He manages to clock one of the thugs with the guns, so that's one down. But unfortunately, I guess one of the other thugs managed to hit the tires of the motorcycle because they spin out and crash. Despite that, Robin's immediately back on his feet, just chasing after the truck, sprinting as fast as he can. He basically sprints a full mile, but by the time he gets there, the plane that they were headed towards is already taken off. Shiva's already on site. Clyde's wondering if Clyde's there wondering, hey, what happened to Shiva? Is she on the plane with her friends? And Robin's looking around like, no, there are a lot of dead bodies here, so this was probably Shiva's doing. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, he won't kill anyone, but he doesn't really mind if his friends do it. I'm not sure how I feel about that, honestly.
I mean, it's hard when you're fighting people trying to kill you to fight your friends to not kill them while they're also fighting for their own lives.
Yeah, I think that's what Robin's coming from. Like, I swore an oath to never take a life. You guys don't have that restriction.
Like, he a liability.
I want to say that. I mean, he was right about the virus.
Okay, he was right one time about the virus, but still, if you did that to me again, I'd turn the gun on you.
Clyde got a new gun. Robin's not taking it away from him. But yeah, turns out Shiva was able to successfully grab one of the crates that they were transporting. They had two. Now they only have one. But they also know where the plane's going. So they should be able to, like, catch it at its destination in Hong Kong. So, Lynx decides to take credit for the win, more or less, and say, hey, we lost one of the crates, but we did kill those 3 people you wanted us to kill. And so King Snake is like, are you sure? And of course Lynx is like, yeah, my word. So yeah, of course, so King Snake is like, good job. Yeah, you know what would happen if you disappointed me. So yeah, Lynx is sweating bullets. In the meantime, Clyde, Robin, and Shiva catch a plane to Hong Kong, and Robin's able to do some more research on what this plague actually is. Turns out it's a weaponized version of the bubonic plague.
Huh.
Interesting. I was just watching the show, and they had the bubonic plague in it.
Yeah, that one virus that killed off like half of Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the virus that only stopped progressing because there weren't enough people left alive to progress too.
But, I mean, isn't it healable with antibiotics?
Maybe. I guess you catch it soon enough. But this is also a weaponized version of it. And this is what the King Snake has, and what he's probably planning on using in one of the most densely populated countries on Earth. So, Robin knows what his objective is. He needs to make sure that that virus does not get into the wrong hands, which is anyone's hands. Unfortunately, once they get to Hong Kong and they manage to shake down some ghost dragons and figure out the location of the, drop-off spot for the virus. It turns out he's outvoted in that regard. Shiva and Clyde, they vote to just let them continue to take the virus to King Snake. That way they can follow it and find King Snake. Because that's what the main problem was. They didn't know where he was. Robin, however, wants to get rid of the virus.
I think that'd be the best plan. If this is like the only way, if we destroy this, his plan's ruined. Probably the best plan. We'll find King Snake later when it's not in jeopardy of.
Yeah, that is the better plan.
Alive.
That is the better plan if your objective is to, save lives. But that's not what Clyde and Shiva want. They want to kill King Snake.
Uh-huh.
And this is finally dawning on Robin that he's not really allied with heroes here. Like, he knows they're supposed to be the good guys. They're not supposed to be fueled by anger and hatred.
Yeah, he's a little bit drunk on Batman.
Well, he should
how
be.
Batman
Robin.
does it. I'm just saying, this is how Batman does it. And, forgetting, oh, yeah, the world doesn't revolve around Batman.
Kind of, but this is also how most superheroes do it. I mean, keep in mind, Robin is dressed in a mask, a cape, and tights, and his friends are just wearing regular clothes.
Right. They're actually just thugs themselves, but with the same enemy. So it's more of an ally.
Friend of convenience.
Enemy of my enemy is my ally type thing.
That situation. Tim is pretty much disappointed in both of them. He's not really disappointed in Shiva because he kind of knew she was a homicidal maniac, but he's disappointed in Clyde. In the meantime, King Snake, he gets his shipment. The guys managed to figure out where he's holed up. He's basically in this fortified skyscraper. And King Snake knows that the trio are still alive. And it doesn't appreciate being lied to by Lynx. But apparently he has standards, and apparently it will be unchivalrous to kill a woman. So he hands her off to his right-hand man, Bobo, who tells her to, he tells him to punish her. Nothing permanent, but memorable. And, Lynx is taken away. Back with our heroes, it's, they need time to plan out their assault, gather information, so there's taking a couple of days that apparently Shiva has friends, and she's letting them borrow their mansion. So Tim's conclusion is her friends don't want to be around her either. So she showed up, and they left. Hey, did you hear any of that?
Yeah,
I did. Yeah.
All right, what was the last thing you heard? You came on for a second.
When Shiva's friends don't like.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So all right. So Shiva shows up in Robin's room, and okay, the time has come. It's time to enter a whole new world. And Tim is like, I don't think I'm ready for this. And she's like, there'll be time for that later. Right now, we're talking about your martial arts skills. It was like, okay, let me get dressed. So, it turns out Shiva's martial arts style is about weapons as well. So, Robin's allowed to pick out his second weapon. He picks a collapsible staff that can fit underneath his cape. This staff actually becomes Tim's signature weapon. Whenever in the animated series or in the live action series, if a Robin pulls out a staff, remember that was Tim's weapon first. So, I like this. So, it's Shiva's turn to start training Tim. And Tim kind of breaks it down because it's pretty much the same old story. Him getting clobbered. He says that, he's been getting kicked and punched and slapped and stomped. Some were bruisers, some were experts, some were mechanics. But this is the first time he's ever fought an artist before.
That was cute.
Yep. But Robin also knows that she's toying with him and he doesn't like it. So he lets that anger build up, trying to use that aggression that Clyde taught him. And he goes in to let her know that she was in a fight. And basically she's gonna know she was in a fight because she'll be washing the blood off of her hands. Because she sits Robin down hard and tells him that anyone who relies on anger for a fight is an idiot. So Clyde, you think Clyde would have a problem with this, but he's just like, man, that was a world-class whooping. Later on, Clyde and Robin have a heart-to-heart. Clyde can tell that Robin's still mad at him for, not going after the virus. And Clyde's just like, hey, I figured out who you are. Like you're the boy wonder that freaking Gotham. I don't think someone like you should be judging me. And then Robin points out that he kind of got the situation backwards. Like, catching King Snake is the secondary objective. The first objective was stopping the virus. Because they can always get King Snake later, just like you were saying. And also, now they have to infiltrate King Snake on his turf. King Snake has the advantage here. So this was a bad play all the way around. But Robin says, hey, he's going to play his part. He's going to figure out what they need to do in order to get inside that building. Because he's the detective of the group, right? So he figures out what security system, who installed the fortified skyscraper security system. He calls them up, puts on a voice, pretends that he's friends with King Snake, and the guy just starts listing off the different features of the security system. Tim has the information they need in order to infiltrate. But before they do, there's one more sparring session with Lady Shiva. And this time, Tim has a plan. He hollowed out part of his staff. So when he tried to strike at her, it made a whistling sound that took her off guard. And when she was taken by surprise, he was able to land a strike. And then he was able to follow that up with another strike. And then that led into a third strike. So Shiva taught him what she wanted to. Robin's learned finesse. And he's also starting to incorporate his intelligence with his fighting style. Which is going to come in handy because it's time for the infiltration. But Clyde is... Okay, so King Snake's plan is that he basically just wants to kill off Hong Kong. Apparently, the city has been turned over to the Communist Party or something. And he's like, hey, if I can't have it, no one can, because they're just going to ruin it anyway, so I might as well kill it myself. So they're ready to go in there and stop him, but it turns out Clyde, he's finally realized that he's been traveling with a 15-year-old this whole time, and he doesn't want Robin involved anymore. Lady Shiva actually stands up for Robin and says, hey, he can make his own choices. He came all this way, he's a warrior, we should let him fight. But Clyde's just like, screw you, I'm not here for all of this. I'm just here to kill King Snake, get out of my way. So he runs in by himself, and Shiva stops Robin from stopping him. And when Robin asks Shiva what we should do next, Shiva just disappears, Batman style, once again. So Robin's up to his own devices. He's able to slip in because he memorized the security system and schematics, and he is the one who's able to cut the security. Because Clyde apparently forgot about that. He went in with the machine gun, expecting to fight an army's worth of people by himself. So Robin's able to get in there and cut off the security measures just in time. But like I said, Robin is bad at sneaking. So he immediately gets caught. Soldiers start rushing down the stairwell. He's trying to duck and dodge and not get shot. Meanwhile, Clyde, he's already made it up to the top floor. And King Snake has his, office or something set up in the most evil, hilarious looking place possible. There are a bunch of pillars with evil statues. Completely dark, only lit by moonlight.
If I ever get rich, I have to have an evil lair.
Yeah, so King Snake is just hiding in the shadows. Remember, King Snake can't see, and he's trying to make sure no one else has that advantage either. Meanwhile, Bobo is taking charge, and Robin's trying to deal with him right now. The guy has a shotgun. He's already started. Bobo has a shotgun. He's starting to shoot at the mechanism that's meant to release the virus. This weird water clock system. The virus is in a salt crystal, and the machine is supposed to reach... The water is supposed to reach the salt crystal in about a week, and then it'll take 12 hours to dissolve the salt, and then the salt will release the virus. I don't know why it had to be so convoluted. But Bobbles just starts shooting at that, trying to get to Robin. And one of the scientists or whatever runs up. He's wearing a lab coat, so I assume scientist. He runs up to him and says, "Hey, don't shoot the machine. You might release the virus and we'll all be infected." And Bobbles like, "I never miss." And then he shoots the scientist in the chest. Okay, so the security guards that were...
How we get offended and shoot the guy?
Okay, so the security guards, like, saw this happen, is like, okay, the boss is just shooting random people now, our own guys. I think we should leave this situation. We've been paid for the month. Let's go. So it's just Robin and Bobo now.
There's that point that when things get too crazy, you just gotta get up out of there.
Yeah, these guys were smart enough to realize that. So Robin has apparently been really practicing with that sling because he's able to take a shot and land directly into the barrel of the gun, and when Bobo pulls the trigger, it explodes. Now, they don't say it, but Bobo might not be okay. We never see him again after this, except for the charred remains.
Go.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where that falls in the no-kill policy.
If they do something to kill themselves, you didn't kill them.
Well, sure.
Like, stopping a gun from shooting and them shooting the gun is, I mean, that's not you killing them. That's,
Yeah. But, all right. So, Robin manages to get out of there. He's finally able to... The way is clear for him to get to the top floor, to get to Clyde. But Clyde had a standoff with King Snake, and it didn't end in his favor. Robin's too late. Clyde is dead.
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming.
I didn't. I thought Clyde was going to be like a legend, but he's just dead.
Clyde is dead.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
And King Snake is still in there. He's just starting to taunt from the shadows now. King Snake puts together that this is Robin, and he's kind of disappointed that Batman hasn't showed up, but hey, maybe he'll get the chance to fight Batman if he kills his bird. Robin's smart enough to not answer because he knows King Snake is blind and he's just trying to pinpoint him by his voice. So he stays quiet, but it doesn't work for long. He's able to get the first strike in, but King Snake is fast and he's strong, and he's able to bruise his ribs with one kick. Robin realizes that he's not going to last very long in a fair fight. So once again, he has to use his brains. He still has his whistling staff. And he's able to, rig it up so that it starts whistling. While he's sneaking behind King Snake's distracted by the staff. So, with the strongest kick he can muster, Robin is able to kick King Snake out of a window. Alright. So, he's just dangling there.
Classic.
And that's when Lady Shiva shows up. And again, a bit of Star Wars inspiration here. She's like, alright. Okay, you did it. Finish him. Kill him, become the predator you were meant to be.
This is just so classic. The dangling superhero, the evil devil on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Having to make that decision.
Yeah, it's not much of a decision. Robin's just I thought you wanted to kill him. And she's like, won't I?
It's either you two or I will.
Aren't you my weapon? Did I not forge you?
No.
Say you're mine. Just say you're mine. And I don't know where this came from. She gave no impression that she was looking for an apprentice.
Yeah, coming off a little creepy, going off with the boys in tights kind of thing that Batman did, but this is a little creepier.
Robin didn't even hesitate. He just said no and went to go pick up Clyde's body. In the background, just hears the no as King Snake falls to his death. You know, because he left him with a dangerous assassin.
A homicidal maniac.
Yeah. So Robin makes it downstairs and he encounters this strange French detective who says, "Hey, I called the police. I called the police. We're gonna get everything in order here, but there's probably something you should know that's outside of my jurisdiction." Yeah. It turns out that King Snake, before this happened, sent a shipment to Gotham, of all places. Yeah, it turns out he was going to start over there. He just sent a shipment just full of cash. So Robin finds the ship. He goes to the docks. He's been in Gotham for about a week, but he hasn't reported into Batman yet. He wanted to finish this himself. And you know what? He does finish it himself. He goes in like a pro. He jumps into the mob of gang members and he just takes them all out, one by one, two by two. It's like he's been doing this his whole life. And when he finally reaches Lynx, who's still in charge of this operation, I think he's just gonna smack her. Like, he's just been waiting to just smack her around because of all the trouble he's been through. All the friends he lost. But his anger immediately evaporates when he sees her face. It turns out the memorable punishment that Bobo dished out was plucking her eye out.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's just like, "You want to punish me? Go on! Or don't you want to look at me?" Because, yeah, this was not good for her mental state. So Robin just walks away, like there's nothing more. He can't do any more damage at this point. And that's when Batman catches him. Yeah, so Batman's there like, how long have you been there? How'd you know it was here? And he's like, that cop you talked to in France, he was a associate of mine, Henry Descartes, another one of Batman's teacher from his quest around the world. Descartes taught Batman how to hunt people. But yeah, so Tim asks, "Why didn't you step in?" And Batman just says, "You didn't need me to." "You look ready, are you?" And, well, Tim is actually not as enthusiastic as he expected to be. He just says, "Do you ever get tired? Do you ever wonder if what we do makes a difference?" And I think this is pretty indicative of Batman, at least the Batman that I like. His answer is, it does. It does to me. That's all I ask.
I mean, you just stopped the bubonic plague. I think you made a difference.
Actually, that's that's the next statement. Like, Tim is saying Batman does not do this to save the world. He does it to save himself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's met people who want vengeance, who want glory, who just want wealth or power. And at this point, Tim doesn't really know what he wants.
He's just a little boy.
Yeah. But for the time being, he's swinging into the night with Batman. So his education is just beginning. And that's it. So what I liked about the story is actually the training arc. Like, it may be me just inputting my own, theories in there, but I believe what happened was his first master basically taught him how to take a beating. Taught him how to take punishment and recover quickly. His second teacher, Clyde, taught him how to use his aggression, how to push his advantage. And his third teacher, Shiva, taught him how to make it all work together. How to be precise and be clever. It was a
dope little training arc.
Yeah. And by the end of it, instead of being dragged to the ground by a group of foes, he's able to fend them off easily on his own. He's still not sure he's I guess he's no longer insecure whether or not he is the best choice to be Robin. It's more like, I am Robin. For better or worse. And Robin's the type of hero who's always, like, surprised by what he's capable of. He's always studying, always trying to get better. So there's sometimes he'll whip out a move that he didn't even know would actually work. Like one time he was on a rooftop and he was fighting this guy with arrows. And he thought, okay, so I practiced this drill. I practiced this drill 100 times. And what do you know? It actually works as he snaps the arrows out of the air with his bare hands. There's this other time, and there's another time where he just got stabbed. By Jason, of all people, honestly.
Jason just likes to stab people.
Actually, it turns out Tim's weakness may just be knives. Like, knife combat, he never fares well in. But yeah, he was stabbed by Jason during the Battle for the Cowl arc, and instead of
Wasn't
bleeding
Damien
out...
also stabbed by Jason during the Titans, like, disbanding arc?
Yeah, maybe. The thing
I
is,
know him and Damien fought because Damien accused Jason of attacking the Titans.
I don't recall. Yeah, but instead of bleeding out and dying, Tim went into a meditative state where he slowed his metabolism and everything. Didn't know that would work. Yeah, and of course every Robin needs to, like, graduate at some point, take on a new identity.
Red Robin.
Yeah, and I was not a fan of that name, by the way.
He's the only one who kept the Robin name other than Damien, who is Robin, but
yeah, I know
he hasn't graduated yet.
Yeah, I know why they call him Robin. It's because Red Robin was the character that Dick Grayson turned into in the Kingdom Come series, and they decided to bring that costume back.
Didn't both Jason and Dick once become Red Robin?
Well, no, okay, so Dick Grayson was the first Red Robin in the Kingdom Come series, which is a different continuity, and then Jason Todd became Red Robin because he didn't want him to be the Red Hood, and then Tim became Red Robin because he figured Red Robin was already a tarnished identity, so he was probably going to be doing some shady stuff, so he doesn't want to do that as Robin. Plus, he was already
Can any of these Robins come up with an original idea for names? Because Dick Grayson stole Nightwing from Superman's old name, Jason Todd stole Red Hood from the Joker, and then Tim stole Red Robin from both Robins.
Well, I guess that's the price of being a legacy hero. Sometimes it's hard to come up with. Sometimes it's hard to be original.
And of course, Damien, is a Robin because he's a Robin.
Yeah, but I like these aspects of Tim Drake. He's humble, he's smart, he's always trying to do better. But just as I discovered this character is kind of when it was just before the New 52 took place, and all of that changed.
Oh, you mean the horrible continuity retcon?
Yeah, this.
Where they completely wrote Tim and Jason out of existence?
Well, actually, they didn't. He survived. He survived the retcon. Okay, basically, Green Lanterns and Batman were the only continuities that were unchanged by the New 52.
But they kind of just, disregarded all of Jason's stuff and completely cut him out of the story.
No, he was there. It's just that everything took place within 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff happened in those 10 years.
So it was before Jason even came back, then?
Nope. Like I said, it all already happened.
Okay.
All of it. But yeah,
I want to see if they done anything with the Red Hood Ninja and Young Justice.
Not that I know of.
Because I know that they had season 3, and then
if they get a new season, they probably will. Actually, Young Justice is one of the things that made me want to talk about Tim Drake, because Tim doesn't do anything in that show.
Yeah, he just appears at season 2, and they skip Jason yet again. Yeah,
like when he appeared in season 2, I was kind of excited. Like, finally, Tim Drake is gonna get some spotlight. Because really, it takes an animated series or a movie for a character to get really popular.
Yeah.
The last time Tim Drake was in a show was in Batman the Animated Series, and that was, again, a very different Tim Drake.
Hey, but maybe we'll get something with him in Titans Season 4. I haven't seen the rest of Season 3 or Season 4 yet, but maybe he's going to get some spotlight in Season 4.
Maybe. The thing about the New 52... In the New 52...
Yeah, you go ahead.
Alright, in the New 52 continuity, Tim's origins is this, that he wants to be the best. And I guess the difference would be that the original Tim Drake, he wanted to be his best. This new 52 Tim Drake wants to be the best.
Best Robin or the best Robin and Batman?
Okay,
best.
so he was already an Olympic level gymnast. He could have been the best gymnast, but for some reason decided he wants to be the best crime fighter. So he thought Batman would be the perfect guy to work with for that. So he's been trying to figure out who Batman is for a good while now, and he actually thinks he pulled it off. He does not. Batman just found out that Tim was looking for him. He figured he'd make an appearance to Tim in this secluded location that he set up to tell Tim to knock it off. Tim took that as a challenge and decided to steal a bunch of money from the Penguin and distribute it to a bunch of charities. So the Penguin was able to track that easily. So, Tim and his parents were just trying not to get gunned down. Like, just a hail of gunfire just comes through the front door, and Tim is just, like, crawling out from behind the counter, wondering if his parents are still alive. And surprisingly, they are. So, Batman comes in and stops the bad guys, but Tim's parents are forced to go into the witness protection program, and Tim stays behind with Batman, and his parents are all like, "Hey, we always knew you would do great things. No, go make us proud, kid. Yeah, I know you ruined our lives, but don't worry about it."
Hey.
And it turns out because everything is condensed within a 5-10 year time span, Tim wasn't even a Robin for that long. Like, he never donned the name Robin. He started out as Red Robin.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, I didn't like the Red Robin costume. I like the new 52 Red Robin costume less. So that kind of made me nostalgic for the old Red Robin costume. But currently the new Red Robin costume is just the regular Robin costume, except there's 2 R's on the chest instead of 1 now. Like I said, I didn't like the original Red Robin costume, but at least it was his. They tried to experiment a bit more with Tim Drake. Like, he had a whole new yellow costume, called himself Drake for a while. Or at least in that one comic where he tried to form the Teen Titans again.
Oh, very inconspicuous.
He had a mask. I mean, a drake is a type of bird. He still fits in. I was actually looking forward to seeing the adventures of Drake. But it wasn't meant to be. And that's kind of how I feel like Tim is usually treated. Like, he's that Robin he's the one that you skip over because, you gotta save time.
Right.
And that's a shame because basically he has the qualities I like in a hero. Always wanting to learn, always wanting to get better. And, never satisfied at his current level. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Any closing thought, guys? Those closing thoughts?
Well, I'm glad I got to learn a little bit more about Robin I didn't really know much about. I'd known a lot about Jason and a lot about Dick and a lot about Damian, but I never really knew much about Tim.
Yeah. Oh, I guess there's one more. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna agree. My before this, my knowledge of the Robins were pretty surface level. No backstory. They never were the important ones. It was always about Batman. They have a moment, but always back to Batman. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mentioned to you before that I always like the underdog. Like, I think that's why I'm attracted to like normal type Pokemon and the Hufflepuff house in Harry Potter. I like the ones that no one thinks much of, but are actually really awesome. Yeah. Tim Drake actually has a lot more going on in his stories. Like, he's the one who formed Young Justice. When his best friend Connor Kent died, he changed his costume to reflect his friend's colors.
And they killed off Connor?
Don't worry, he came back.
Isn't that his boyfriend now in the continuity?
No.
It's not.
Yeah, Tim Drake. Isn't Tim Drake with one of the Superboys?
Not that I know of.
One of the Superboys, no.
There are multiple Superboys, though.
I heard about that, though. I heard that one of the Supermans is homosexual.
John Kent, I believe.
Terrible.
I don't think it's that big a deal. Especially
Yeah,
since this takes place like 5, 6, 10 years in the future.
Because they should have babies. Super babies that could save the world.
Superman just picked up 2 more kids like a couple of months ago.
Nah, you really don't want super babies because all it takes is one bad one.
Yeah. But that's what the Phantom Zone projector is for. Tim, like I said, Tim's parents Tim's dad does wake up. Like, he gets his control of his body back. He does start dating one of the nurses that were looking after him, and eventually they get married. So Tim has his dad back and a new stepmom, and his dad forces him to quit being Robin once he finds out. And Robin, being the dutiful son that he is, immediately does it. And apparently Bruce felt like jilted or something because of this. Because when Stephanie showed up to become Robin to spite Tim, he was like, okay, sure. Now, obviously that ended badly. But it wasn't until Tim's dad was killed by Captain Boomerang, of all people, that Tim came back to the Robin title. And that's when Bruce adopted him, and Tim officially became Tim Wayne. And that's pretty much where his big grievance with Damian came in. His big rivalry with him.
Because he took his name?
That kind of, Damian was all like, I'm Bruce's real son. All you were just placeholders. And, Tim is officially an orphan now. So, he can't have someone talking about that about his name.
People are weird when it comes to caring about stuff that don't matter. Like, whose name is who, and people and being jealous over that. Like, you out here dodging bullets and stuff. You worried about who has your last name.
Well, Damian was kind of rubbing salt in the wound because Dick also just fired Tim from being Robin.
And Damian, Batman never really liked Damian, right? Wasn't it always kind of like, you're my son, but I don't really like you?
Well, no, it's more like, okay, you're my son from maybe, you're here, and you're in my care, and I need to stop you from killing people.
He's like, see, the thing is like,
that's actually it's never been confirmed whether or not Damian's a clone or not. Like, there was always the thing about Damian back, early on when his creation was like, is he actually Bruce's son or not?
It's too far out of his, lack of a better word, fetish. His fetish is adopting little boys, not making little boys. So it put him in the icky zone where he's like, this is weird. This isn't the same vibe. I want someone else's child to corrupt. Corrupting his own children
Damian was
rubbed him right.
Damian was kind of just dropped in his lap as a distraction from one of Talia's take over the world schemes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, the thing about Damian is that I'm pretty sure he might be a clone. I mean, there are a bunch of other Damians that Talia tried to sick on him when Damian was being too disobedient. Like, there was one time when they were fighting the Red Hood. Like, the Red Hood was trying to become the new Gotham Protector. He got a sidekick called Scarlet, which isn't bad, the Red Hood and Scarlet. But, so at one point, Jason got Damian on the ground and just unloaded his entire clip into Damian's back.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and when Dick approached, like, Damien, are you okay?
Oh yeah, I just got shot a bunch of times. That's completely fine. That's normal, right? I just got shot.
Well, actually, Damien's reaction was fairly subdued. It was like, okay, I can't feel anything. Just go take care of business. Like, I'm pretty sure you severed my spine. I got no feeling anywhere. I'm good. Go do your thing. I'll just be laying here.
Yeah.
And the reason he was so confident is because a helicopter from the League of Assassins immediately showed up to scoop him up.
Heck, Lazarus Pit time.
I don't know what they did, but a couple of days later, Damien was walking around just fine.
Lazarus Pit.
I did think he had a falling out with his mom soon after that. So, like, hey, if you get hurt like that again, it
No more
won't be
Lazarus
this way
Pit.
again.
You're grounded from the Lazarus Pit if you do it again.
Yeah. But yeah, all around. Oh yeah, Tim is also the manipulative Robin. Like,
I mean, he
Tim
did blackmail, in one continuity, he did blackmail Bruce Wayne into letting him become Robin.
I guess Tim probably would do that. Like, he eventually discovers that he's a chess master. Like, he can basically either predict or manipulate people's decisions so he can get them exactly where he wants them when he wants them there, which is what he did when he found out that Captain Boomerang was resurrected. So he made sure that Captain Boomerang would make certain decisions that would lead him exactly to the spot he should be, so Robin can just let him die. Basically, he fell off of something. Robin didn't have to catch him. But Robin decided, I could kill you, but I'm better than you, so no.
Isn't that what Batman did with, what was the one that made Dick Grayson into Rick Grayson? H2, not H2,
Yeah,
something Beast.
Yeah, the
KJ Beast.
Yeah, KJ Beast. I don't really know. I didn't read that storyline.
Because he locked KJ Beast in an unbreakable, unsealable, or like completely sealed off tunnel or room, and then just let him die in there after Dick Grayson got shot in the head.
I think he called like the cops like 12 days later or something.
The dude would have been dead by then.
He would have survived 12 days.
Not with no oxygen. It was completely airtight.
I'll have to look up the story. But I think that's all I have to say for now.
Yeah, KGB, like, I just remember the Rick Grayson storyline vividly, and it was the worst storyline to ever happen.
Yeah. Guys, I had a plan. This was not meant to go on for this long. I am sorry.
It is fun.
Yeah. But either way, A New Shade of Blue, turning out.
All right, nueave-six, I'm out.
Stay classy, my creepy crawler friends. Dead Spider Plays, out.